Hi everyone, so today I want to discuss Destiny 2 Year 5. What is Year 5? That begins with Witch Queen, which came out February 22nd, 2022, and will be ending this month in February 2023, more specifically February 28th, 2023. So Year 5 includes the expansion Witch Queen and the 4 seasons, starting with give me a second, I want to make sure it's correct, season 16, which began the same day that Witch Queen came out. Again, February 22nd, 2022. That was called Season of the Risen. Next was season 17 with Season of the Haunted, which released May 24th. Season 18, Season of the Plunder, which came out August 23rd. And then lastly, ending with Season of the Seraph, which released December 26th. About technically ending February 28th. The story portion actually ended already this week. Give me a quick second. Let me look up the date. On the 14th of February, so Valentine's Day. And yes, so this is going to be a bit of a special review because this is my first live service review. All my other reviews that I've done, my brief reviews, have all been based on properties that are complete. They're done. Be it either a movie, a piece of literature, a TV show, another game. This is a game, but it's a live service game, which means is that each season continues the story, or at the very least continues a element of the story in preparation for the next major expansion, which is Lightfall. And so I have to say, as a player who started playing Destiny overall, including both Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, seriously, when Beyond Light came out around Black Friday 2020, or whenever the year that Beyond Light came out, that's when I started playing. So I've been playing Destiny for about 2 years, maybe 1 year and 3/4, give or take. And I have to say, I think I hopped on in a special position because I am aware that, pardon if you guys hear any yard work outside, it's the gardening work being done by my neighbors. Anywho, continuing. Before Beyond Light came out, Destiny 2 was actually in a very hard place because a lot of people were very disappointed and frustrated with the story experience. The seasons were apparently quite boring and quite drab and very mundane. It was just a lot of text, which I don't mind personally because I do enjoy to read, but it was just text. And starting with Beyond Light, that's when the seasonal story took a drastic change, a transformation. There were still textual sources for information, but in addition to the text, there was also now cutscenes. Cutscenes that typically began the season, a little exposition dump in the middle of the season, and then an ending cutscene. In addition to those cutscenes, there's also weekly missions. For the most part, not every season had that. Let me rephrase that. There was also weekly missions. In addition to those weekly missions, there were seasonal activities that allowed one to access that mission. Which was true for the most part, except for Season of the Haunting, which actually had a public event. One had to complete a public event before they could do the seasonal mission. Overall, I have to say, as someone who's been part of the live experience for Live Queen, for Witch Queen up until this point, I have to say I have been enjoying myself. I think it's been a lot of fun. It's been great knowing that every week, or rather every Tuesday when the story is going, that there's a new piece of content coming out. It really did feel like I was watching a piece of television, but instead of a show, it was a video game. I'm not going to lie, there were some lows, but the lows weren't very low. They weren't that low. I don't like to repeat words, but you guys know what I mean. Let me elaborate upon that. My least favorite season in terms of the activity was Season of the Haunting. I'm just not a big fan of public events, but I did find the missions to be enjoyable. I found the story to be quite enjoyable as well. Essentially, our characters, Zavala, Crow, and Aramis, and also Kato, Callus's daughter, they had to face off against their nightmares. And we were assisting because we were already, we faced against our nightmares in Shadowkeep. So we were there as support, essentially. I'm actually skipping a season of Parliament only because it's almost a year since it first came out, but Season of the Risen, I actually really did enjoy that story as well. So essentially a summary of that is that we discovered that the Lucent Brood, is now in existence. Who are the Lucent Brood? They're a hive with light abilities, or hive light bearers essentially, and we end up having to stop a plan that Savathun had rolling in the background, where she wanted to kidnap, or maybe kidnap is a strong word, but I would say kidnap from the Guardian perspective, but to teleport the Traveler into her throne world in order to protect the Traveler. Protect the Traveler from who? The Witness. Savathun was aware that the Witness was finally coming for the second collapse. And the Witness and its fleet have been coming since the end of D2's base campaign at the end of Red War. After the Traveler utilized its light abilities to push back against Light Gaul. Ghaul Gaul. He turned into a light figure himself, and the Traveler needed to dispel him. But doing so awakened, or at least maybe not awakened, but alerted the Pyramid fleet of the Traveler's location. Or at the Traveler's existence. To my understanding, the Darkness was confused about where the Traveler was hiding. Anywho, but yeah, so that's where we're at with Season of the Risen, Season of the Haunting. And Season of the Plunder, I have to say, while Season of the Haunting was my least favorite activities, I did enjoy the story. I have to say that Season of the Plunder was the opposite. I did enjoy the seasonal activities, but I was not the biggest fan of the story itself. The story was essentially like a pirate-themed story, where essentially you're working with Drifter, Mithrax, his daughter, fortunately I can't recall her name at the moment, and the Spider, and you're working against Aramis, who has returned. Excuse me, that was a hiccup. She has returned. Aramis has been encased in stasis since the end of Beyond Light. So almost 2 years later, she's finally broken out of the stasis, and she's now choosing to work with the Witness. And she's furthering their goals. And we find out that they're actually trying to collect the remnants of Nizorak, a former disciple of the Witness. But we thankfully end up gathering up all the pieces before they could, and we used the remnants, the ashes of Nizorak, to reawaken Osiris. Pardon me, I should have explained that it gets revealed during Witch Queen, or rather, yeah, it gets revealed during Witch Queen, the lead up to Witch Queen, so the previous season's story, or the previous expansion story, that Osiris was actually possessed by Savathun, and he's been possessed by her for a pretty long time, since Beyond Light, since the start of Beyond Light, all the way up into the release of Witch Queen, up into the season before Witch Queen. You know what, since I have it right here, I could just go ahead and look it up really quickly. Season of the Lost. So he was possessed, Osiris was possessed by Savathun from year 4, since Season of the Hunt, all the way into Season of the Risen. So we utilize the remnants of Nizorak to bring back Osiris, and he's back with us, and he tells us that he has memories of Savathun, and he is aware about Neptune's Neomona. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. What is Neomona? A secret city of a human civilization that's hiding out on Neptune. Not only is it a human civilization, but they're actually advanced. They're much more technologically advanced than the last city. The city that the Guardians protect, that's beneath the Traveler. And yeah, so that's Lifeall is going to review more about Neomona on Neptune. And right now, I'm really excited, to be honest, because the last mission for Season of the Seraph actually did a big change to the social space of Destiny. So in case you're unaware, there are spoilers right here, but when one gets their bounties, they get them typically from the Tower. There are other social spaces. Well, no, I think the only 2 social spaces are the Tower and Eternity. And I suppose the Helm, but that's not really social. It's more if you have a fire team. But anywho, the Tower is where one picks up most of the bounties. And always what's been a mainstay of the landscape of the Tower has been the Traveler. So the Tower is on a balcony, and off in the distance you can see the Traveler. And lo and behold, at the end of the mission activity, at the end of the seasonal finale for Season of the Seraph, the Traveler is no longer there. Where is the Traveler? It's lifted off into the atmosphere of the Earth, so it's now in space. And it's doing that because it's getting ready to make a final stand against the Witness, who is finally entering our solar system. He's entering the solar system with his Pyramid fleet, and in addition to that with Callus and his own personal armies as well. And they are going to invade. Lightfall is going to begin with an invasion of both Neomona, which will be the expansion's focus, and to my understanding, Earth, and that will be the Season of the Defiance focus. Season of the Defiance is the season that will be launching with the expansion Lightfall. That's what I have to say. I think so. Again, the lows that were present in year 5. When I say that they were low, I just mean that I wasn't really enjoying the activities, but they weren't horrible, or I wasn't really into the story, but it wasn't horrible. I was more neutral about it. Season of the Plunder, again, the reason why the story didn't really capture my attention was just because mostly it felt to me like, well, I guess we were helping to support the Elixni coder in the last tower, but I just felt like besides for Aramis, who I am glad she's back, besides for her, there really wasn't much to do with the story. And Nizorak, using him to reawaken, essentially return his ashes into a tea, but doing that to reawaken Osiris, I'm leaning more towards neutral, hinted with a little bit of disappointment, just because I was hoping we'll do something a little bit more than that with Nizorak's remnants. But who knows? Maybe there will be another plot element that we'll revisit in the future. Pardon me, that's a tongue twister for me. It's not out of the question. For example, Rasputin's story, which began almost 9 years ago, was finally concluded with Season of the Seraph. And again, spoilers, but Rasputin, unfortunately, that was my pen, forgive me. Rasputin, unfortunately, chooses to sacrifice himself to help protect humanity. And I have to say, I did get emotional during the cutscene, and I felt for all the characters. And I highly recommend that one rewatches the cutscene. They watch it at least twice, because there's some details. For example, at the end of it, Zavada looks quite determined. He actually has a smile on his face, while Ikora, she looks very despondent. She looks, I don't want to say nervous, but she looks, well, if one finishes the story, there's the narrative points out that there's a new emotion in her eyes that the Guardian has never seen before, and it's fear. And I think the last cutscene does a great job of showing that with Ikora's emotion, her face, her demeanor. But yeah, I think Year 5 did a great job of getting us the players, ready for Lightfall, to help pushing us along with the conclusion of the saga of Darkness, of Light and Darkness' story. We do have only 2 expansions left, including Lightfall, and then after that we have the final one, which is called the Final Shape, and the climax of the story of the saga of Light and Darkness. And again, I am really looking forward to that. Oh, excuse me, everyone. Pardon me. Okay, excuse me. I'll go ahead and take that phone call after I'm done with this video. I'm actually almost done anyways. Anywho, but if you guys have played Destiny 2 Year 5, or if you've been playing since the beginning, since Year 0, I suppose, since Destiny 1, I guess that'll be like -0, right? Or negative numbers, because technically the years did not start into Destiny 2. I think with Forsaken. I think it started with Forsaken. Anyways, but if you've been playing since the beginning, since Destiny 1, please do let me know. If you're like myself and you barely started about 2 years ago with Beyond Light, I'd love to hear if you're having the same experience as I have, as I've been having, or if you started before one of the seasons but after Destiny came out. I'd love to hear your experience as well. Thank you so much for listening. I do appreciate it. Eyes up, Guardians, because we do know that the darkness is coming and the witness is not fooling around, right? So eyes up, Guardians, and good luck out there. Take care, everyone. Oh, would I recommend Destiny? It's kind of a hard question to answer, because it's a live service game. My answer is yes, but if one wants to experience the story, the seasonal storyline from season 16 all the way to 19, unfortunately they won't be able to do that unless they watch it on YouTube. So if one is interested or intrigued by Destiny 2's lore, I highly encourage that you guys do check out the free-to-play version. Check out some of the strikes. If you're enjoying the gameplay, look into the lore, and that interests you, then definitely consider getting if not the annual pass, and at the very least the expansion. So do I recommend Destiny 2? Yes, I do. And I also recommend Destiny 1 as well. Maybe I'll do a video about that, but I'll have to replay that. Or maybe I'll do a thinking about video comparing D1 and D2. But anywho, thanks so much for your patience, everyone. Take care and be careful out there. Bye-bye.